Hello team and welcome back to Football Daily's X-Eyes. Today we've put together a list of players who've potentially derailed their club's season. It's contentious, so let us know if you agree or disagree in the comments below. Let's go. Goalkeeper, Kepa. Fernando Torres, Angel Di Maria, Juan Sebastian Veron, all considered among the biggest flops of the Premier League era, but all cheaper and undeniably more successful than Kepa Aretha Belaga. The Spaniard joined Chelsea in 2018 for £72 million, the same price as Nicola Pepe and Virgil van Dijk, making fans understandably expect one of the best goalkeepers in the world, especially with the Blues beating Real Madrid to his signature. Instead, they've got a below-average stopper who doesn't even excel with the ball at his feet. Though Chelsea finished third in Kepa's maiden campaign in London, the team managed to allow 39 goals from 35 expected against, and his tally of 14 clean sheets, while seemingly impressive, was the same as Jordan Pickford, with his 67% save rate league average. This year it somehow deteriorated to 54%, the worst in the division, and XG suggests he's cost his team another 4 goals at the halfway point. Sadly, this isn't at odds with his performances in Spain, where he also routinely let in more goals than expected. Frank Lampard is already rumoured to be considering a replacement, but with Chelsea facing stiff competition for UCL football from Spurs, United and even Wolves, the damage could be done by the time the West Londoners cut their losses. Defender, Issa Diop. West Ham made some exciting signings in 2019, with Pablo Fornals and Sebastian Haller arriving, but unfortunately, none of their acquisitions came in the back half of the field. The Irons entered the season under Manuel Pellegrini with just Wilshere, Noble, Carlos Sanchez and Declan Rice as recognised central midfielders. And as a result, the Londoners have been overrun for much of the campaign, allowing more than a goal and a half a game in domestic play. The situation has been exacerbated by the form of Issa Diop, whose performances in his first year in London earned him a rumoured £70 million price tag. The Frenchman fell out with Pellegrini off the field in late 2019, was dropped from the squad for 2 games and benched for another 4, and his stats are a problem too. His 4 tackles and interceptions in 2018-19 have fallen to 2.7, with his success ratio dropping from 50 to 40%. A change of manager has seen the 23-year-old intermittently return to the pitch, but his quality and value are far less assured than they were a year ago, while relegation is not yet off the table for Moyes and his men. A disaster all round at the London Stadium. Defender, John Stones. Aymeric Laporte's absence would have hurt any time, and the Frenchman's injury, ruling him out for 5 months of the season, will likely be remembered as the one which handed Liverpool the title. But City could have weathered the loss better if John Stones hadn't picked 1920 to take a step back in his development. Admittedly dealing with fitness issues of his own, once he recovered his health, Stones was often left out of the side in favour of midfielders Fernandinho and Rodri playing centre-back, while he was publicly reprimanded by Pep for being unready to come on in a game against Atalanta. With Fernandinho no longer granting him protection from midfield, the Englishman has been called upon to tackle more than before, and while he's largely done a serviceable job, he's occasionally escaped criticism thanks to the public dislike of Otamendi. For example, in the away defeat to Norwich, where the Argentinian was often left isolated as Stones failed to track Teemu Pukki. In fact, between his physical fragility and patchy performances, Stones has started just 18 Premier League games since the beginning of 2019, and has overall featured in just 58% of City's league matches since he joined the club. At 25, he needs to discover consistency soon, or Liverpool will likely be 2-time champions come 2021. Defender, Kieran Tierney. Despite a defence which could have been imported from League One, it took Arsenal until the last day of the 2019 summer window to bring in help, signing David Luiz and Kieran Tierney with hours to go for a combined £32 million. Luiz has been an extremely mixed bag for the Gunners, but a regular, while Tierney is yet to hit 750 minutes for his new side at the time of writing, leaving Kolasinac and Bukayo Saka to cover on the left flank. Saka in particular has acquitted himself well, but it's still not hard to see how an experienced specialist would help Mikel Arteta improve his team. In his final year at Celtic, Tierney won possession over 4 times a game and completed 82% of the tackles he attempted, while playing a key role in attack by moving the ball into the final third over 8 times per 90 minutes. Kolasinac and Saka average around 4.5 put together, and neither can cover at centre-back like Tierney. A useful ability in Arteta's formation, which flexes between 4-2-3-1 and 2-3-5. Having seen him grab 2 assists in the Europa League, Arsenal fans can dream of Tierney's delivery combining with Aubameyang's movement. But with the Gabonese forward's contract down to 12 months in the summer, and Tierney still sidelined with a shoulder injury, they may well never see it. Right wing, Hirving Lozano. It's still very early in Hirving Lozano's Napoli career, and the Mexican has shown more than enough to suggest he'll go on to be a useful player for the partner pay. But despite being signed to help the club push for major Italian honours, after half a year at the Stadio San Paolo, he's still a bit part player, with roughly the same minutes as backup goalkeeper David Ospina and just 3 goal involvements to his name. More concerningly, Lozano is not as young as you may think, with his 25th birthday rapidly approaching in the summer of 2020. By that point, it was hoped he'd be ready to take the place of out-of-contract Dries Mertens, but Lozano's 2.3 shots a game can't compare to the Belgian's amazing 4.2, while 5 players in the squad lay out more chances than Lozano's 1.5 per 90. All this means that while Inter, Lazio and Roma have made strides forward in 1920, Napoli have fallen back, deservedly sitting 10th at the time of writing and on their second manager of the season in Gennaro Gattuso. If the little donkeys are to escape their slump, they'll need their record signing to discover his PSV form soon. Midfield, Paul Pogba. After the vicious attacks he's suffered since his return to England in 2016, it's not hard to understand why Paul Pogba no longer wishes to play for Manchester United. The Frenchman arrived at Old Trafford for the second time as the most coveted midfielder in the world, and despite 49 goal involvements in the Prem across 3 full seasons to date, he looks set to depart in 2020 with his reputation diminished, thanks to the incompetence of the club's board, managers and many of his teammates. Still, United could have been a lot better this season if Pogba had been available. The signings of Harry Maguire and Aaron Wan-Bissaka genuinely improved the back line, with the 6th best defensive record an unfair reflection of the 2nd best expected goals conceded in the league. But without Pogba, who has missed 30 games already this term with ankle problems, the team has struggled to attack, without a single player other than him producing over 2 key passes a game, and Rashford leading the team in passes into the box with 1.6 per 90, compared to Pogba's 2.6 when he's fit. Perpetually linked with Real Madrid, it would frankly be stunning if Pogba stayed, but in an open-wide Champions League race, the World Cup winner would almost certainly have made the difference for the Red Devils, meaning that if they miss out on Europe's top table, you can expect to hear more bile heading Pogba's way. Midfield, Christian Eriksen. It was once impossible to imagine Tottenham without Christian Eriksen. Before the 1920 season began, the Dane had featured in 181 of 190 available Premier League games under Mauricio Pochettino, producing 94 goals and assists and helping the club record their best points tally of all time, 86 in 2017. During Eriksen's peak, Tottenham finished in the top 3 years running for the first time since the early 1960s, and reached a Champions League final. But with his expiring contract, his coach tried to limit the squad off its dependence on him, frequently using the former Ajax man as a sub despite persistent injuries to Dele Alli. And the upheaval seemed to cause discord in the club, with rumours of training ground fights and humiliating performances, particularly in a 3-0 loss to Brighton and a 7-2 home defeat to Bayern Munich, seeing Pochettino sacked with the team stuck in 14th. Replacement Jose Mourinho immediately made it clear who he blamed for the slump, with Eriksen starting just 2 league matches under him, a draw with Norwich and a loss to Southampton. If Eriksen had gone in the summer, Spurs could have made more than the £17 million they eventually got from Inter Milan, and might have entered the season with greater unity, perhaps even doing enough to keep Pochettino's job. Left wing, Wilfried Zaha. Stats have never liked Wilfried Zaha quite as much as the average fan. The Ivorian international has never put up a good expected goals number, with the exception of the 2017-18 campaign, where he spent some time up front. But this season, his rate of 0.22 expected goals and expected assists per 90 is his lowest in the last 6 years, leaving Palace with the 2nd lowest goal total in the Premier League, netting under 1 a game. While he's producing a goal contribution every 418 minutes in the league, Zaha remains a high-volume dribbler, with only Adama Traore and Alan Saint-Maximin completing more take-ons per match than his 5.1. However, it's not helping his team move into dangerous areas, with just 1.2 final third entries per 90 compared to 1.8 in 2018-19. And as a consequence, he's not winning as many penalties either, with 1 in the Prem this campaign compared to 5 last year. As hard as it is to say goodbye to their star, Palace would be wise to sell as high as they can, given that Zaha is now 27 and they're on the verge of safety. If they continue to hold on and put off rebuilding their ancient, overpaid squad, they may well take the winger down with them before too long. Forward, Martin Terrier. Very few players are having a good year at Lyon. As big a shrug as Bruno Genesio was for most fans, his replacement Silvinho was a disaster, tossed out after 3 wins and 4 losses in 11 games. While the next man in the dugout was the underwhelming Rudy Garcia, whose mediocre track record was made worse by his connection to arch-rivals Marseille. As a consequence, Les Gons sit 5th after 21 matches, which would match their worst finish since 1998. With Nabil Fekir departing in the summer and Memphis Depay severely injured since, the onus was on the squad of players to step up. But quite the opposite has happened. Bertrand Traoré only has 3 assists in 17 appearances, but 22-year-old forward Martin Terrier is in even worse shape, with 1 assist and no goals in 900 minutes. His XG numbers, previously at a solid 0.4 per 90, have slumped to 0.16 a game, about the same as Eric Dyer for Tottenham, and he's taking just 1 shot a match, down from 2 last year and 3 the year before. It's no shock then that 6 Ligue 1 teams have created more goal-scoring opportunities than Lyon this season. And with Moussa Dembele and Houssem Aouar attracting attention from around the continent, Garcia could face a struggle to match even this level of performance in 2020-21. Forward, Alvaro Murata. It may seem harsh to criticise a man who, at the time of writing, has 7 goals and 1 assist in just 1,300 league minutes, leading the Atleti squad in front of goal with the next best goalscorer Angel Correa on 3. But the Rojiblancos are lacking cutting edge in attack this season, with just 22 strikes from nearly 35 expected goals, the biggest underperformance in Europe's top leagues, and meaning that while they rank 2nd in Spain for expected points, they currently languish in 5th. João Felix is also experiencing a bad finishing run, with 3 goal involvements compared to 8 expected, but Murata is also 5 off his predicted tally of 14, accounting for almost half Atleti's shortfall by himself. And while Felix contributes to ball progression and covering Kieran Trippier, Murata's key responsibility is scoring, one in which he's failing to perform. In fact, Murata has finished below expectation in every season since 16-17, which perhaps explains why Atletico Madrid have been linked with moves for attacking reinforcements like Alexandre Lacazette and Edinson Cavani. Now 27, Murata has succeeded in making a career at the top level, but has never quite delivered on the promise he showed as a youngster or in his time at Juventus, when he looks set for superstardom. If another down campaign sees Simeone's side miss out on Champions League football, he could well be on the move for a 3rd time in 3 years this summer. Forward, Christoph Piątek. At over £34 million, Christoph Piątek is the 4th most expensive player in the history of AC Milan, but the Pole, who only arrived at the San Siro a year ago, has already secured his departure to Hertha Berlin. That's largely unsurprising, given that at the time of writing, only left-back Theo Hernandez has hit 5 in Serie A, with only 5 sides scoring fewer than the Rossoneri's 22 after 21 games. Before securing a move away from the San Siro, Piątek only netted 4 whilst registering no assists, which didn't stack up favourably against the 9 goal involvements XG would have predicted. More worryingly, 3 of those goals were penalties. When rumours they were looking to ship him out started to gain traction, Piątek had only put 10 shots on target from open play. This underperformance might be part of the reason why Gianpaolo lost his job after barely 2 months at the helm. Maybe one of the reasons that his replacement, Stefano Pioli, was keen to see him out the door. However, at 24 and with 3.2 shots a game, it's unlikely that the striker is permanently broken. Apparently, the Rossoneri hierarchy think that signing 38-year-old Zlatan Ibrahimovic is the solution, something we're not overly easy with here at Football Daily. If Klinsmann can get the big pole firing once more, the capital club will have a very useful player on their hands. So guys, that was a team of players that may have derailed their team's ambitions this season. What do you think? Let us know in the comments below. We certainly don't all agree with each other here at FD, so we want to hear your opinion. Hit like, subscribe, and we'll see you next week.